Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to be speaking about Jaron Ennis versus Xander Zayas. The fight is on, it's lit, it's popping. Both guys made weight. I'm about to be giving you guys my official weigh-in reaction. We're going to be speaking about our final predictions. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. But before we get into all of that, y'all can please hit the like button on the way in. That'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,500 mark. About to crack that 3,600 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation in the mob for making this possible. Shout out to everybody that's in the comments thus far. Let me go ahead and shout out everybody that's been showing love. Sean Terrence, what up? The Denitric Banner, what up? The little sis Marissa's in the building. Fuck the Aaron Fox, goddamn. Go 787. Justin Jackson, what up? Z, what up? Dominique. Chris Maldonado, what up? Lorenzo and the motherfucking Benzo, what up? King of Brooklyn. What's going on, man? We're going to be in Brooklyn in a few hours, man. I'm highly appreciative of everybody that's been contributing to the channel. Shout out to everyone that's been subscribing to the channel as well. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's excited. The city is absolutely elated about this fight right here. I cannot seem to avoid post about this fight. You know what I mean? People who don't even watch boxing are tuned in. You know what I mean? I'm seeing flyers for bars that's promoting the fight and shit like that. Like, come watch the fight over here. You know what I mean? So this is definitely an event for Philly, man. I love to see Boots getting this type of attention, seeing him get this type of exposure. You know, the weigh-in looked like it was pretty lit as well. It was fire, man. I love what I'm seeing. And I just wanted to say something real quick because I just feel like, not the nation, of course. I would never disrespect the nation, but there are a lot of people who come through on this channel and really lack comprehension skills, or just put words in your mouth that you never said. Now, when I had came out with this video that had went viral on Twitter and shit like that, what I had said was Xander Zayas was having trouble making weight. And I still stand on that. You know what I'm saying? I never once said that Xander was going to miss weight. I actually put out there that I hope that he did make weight. I hope he made weight in the most healthy way possible. I said that multiple times just to let the people know who lack comprehension skills, who lack understanding, that I am not rooting for that dude's downfall. I'm highly appreciative of the fact that Xander took the fight, that he's giving the boxing fans a fight that's going to push the boxing culture forward. I love it. But not one time did I ever say that I wanted Xander to miss weight. Not one time did I ever say that Xander was going to miss weight. What I said was he was struggling to get the weight off. That's what I said. And I heard that from inside sources. Apparently, I don't have inside sources, which is absolutely hilarious. That's how I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers don't know me, or don't know exactly what I got going on, in this boxing world. But, it is what it is. I'm happy that Xander Zayas made the weight. What was he, like 153.8? A little underweight. Really good to see. I love to see that Xander Zayas is able to get that weight off, and you know what I'm saying? All of that good stuff. But I just found it funny that people was in my comments like, oh man, you lied. Oh, you lied. You said he wasn't going to make weight. I never said that. Not one time. Nor would I ever root for a man to miss weight. See, I actually come from boxing. I have experience in boxing. The one thing that was a pet peeve of mine in the sport of boxing was when a motherfucker had the audacity to miss weight. You feel what I'm saying? So there's no way that I would want that to happen to Boots, because, somebody missing weight can lead up to a fight being canceled. You think that's something that I want to see? You think I want to see this fight get canceled after I spent my hard-earned money to get a fucking ticket to watch the fight? You know what I'm saying? Making all these different arrangements to go ahead and go over to Brooklyn to see this motherfucking fight. Convincing my father, who doesn't even like to go to fights, to come to the fucking fight. Like, no, bro, like, don't nobody want to experience that shit. That'll be a huge L for the sport of boxing. So why would I ever pray for somebody to miss weight? What the fuck do I get out of that? Nothing whatsoever. I don't benefit from that. So, man, y'all need to stop putting words in my motherfucking mouth, bro. Y'all motherfuckers is hella ignorant. I see why, boxers don't really engage with these weirdos online because, you know what I mean, they just always trying to find something to hate on. You know what I mean? They'll lie just to attempt to prove some type of weak ass point that ain't even there. And you know what I mean? Like these dudes, they ain't gonna get far in life on whatever it is they choose to do because they haters. You feel me? So I just wanted to put that out there. I never once said that Xander was going to miss weight. I said he was struggling making weight. I still believe that to this day. And we'll know exactly how much he struggled in the fight tomorrow. The ring exposes everything. And you know what I'm saying? I hope he didn't leave any fight in the gym. I hope he didn't fight. You know what I'm saying? King of Brooklyn said, niggas dumb saying you lied. How you lie on a prediction? It wasn't even a prediction. It was something that somebody who was very close to the fight, somebody who's heavily involved in the fight, that's not a part of Boots' team. So this came from a very credible source, came out and told me and my team that, yo, Xander had a little bit of a miscalculation with the weight. He's having a little bit of trouble getting it off. That does not mean that he wasn't going to get it off. It just means that he had a difficult time doing so. There is a difference. Shout out to my boy King of Brooklyn with the $10 super chat. He said, since we in Brooklyn for the fight, like Jay-Z said, and imaginary players, Boots about to show us a difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6. Xander is a regular car that take regular gas. Man, beautiful comment right there from King of Brooklyn. Salute, brother. Thank you for supporting the channel and the ways that you do. You know what I'm saying? Jay said, you were just sharing information. Bingo. Exactly. And one thing about me, man, I don't like to hide shit from my people. You feel what I'm saying? If it's something that I could, say publicly, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean? Because I don't like leaving motherfuckers in the dark. You know what I'm saying? They saying Boo's walking out with Jay-Z tomorrow too. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. But something telling me it's going to be Meek Mill. Something's I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But if it's Jay-Z, that's fire. That's a legend. That's an all-time great. If it's Meek Mill, that's fire too. But if you peep during the weigh-ins, he came out to a Meek Mill song. So I wonder if that was a little bit of foreshadowing. Not too sure, but I'll be there to see. And I'm very excited, man. Not only am I excited to go to the fights in Brooklyn, but I'm also very excited to take the trip with my dad. And you know what I mean? Because my dad was born and raised in Coney Island. So one thing I always wanted to do was, explore that area and see exactly how he grew up, what he was around, what he had experienced. That shit is all dope to me. So I'm going to be vlogging this whole thing, man. That's probably going to take a few hours, a couple days to edit, maybe. But I'm really, really looking forward to meeting everybody. My boy J Cash, Slime, my boy Calvin. It's gonna be a King of Brooklyn if I run into him. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a bunch of people in the building, man. I cannot wait to meet everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no haircut or nothing like that, but we gonna make sure we dress, properly for the occasion and all that good shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's lit. Something just tells me this is going to be a very memorable day of boxing for sure. You never went to Coney Island? I don't think so. My dad said he took me when I was real young, but I don't remember it. I've been to Brooklyn. I actually been to the Barclays, but I don't think I've been exactly to Coney Island. So whatever. Agent 86, what up? Yes, sir. My boy Rouse said, I don't know about my pick now. Mark Boots got to trim his beard. His chin might be gone now. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I ain't gonna lie to you, but this is what I'm gonna say, right? Because a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a few people ask me about the whole beard situation, right? And look, some commissions they have these little weird rules where you know what I mean. They feel like that chin hair, having a beard could be, I guess you would say, a safety issue for the opponent because the hair could scratch their eye. The hair, You know, especially if you got, you know, like thick hair, you know what I'm saying? You could scratch or coarse hair, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know what I mean? It could scratch your opponent, whatever the case is. And not only that, but they say that there's some type of padding for your chin. See, this is how I know when people say shit like this, bro, they don't know boxing. These motherfuckers do not. These motherfuckers ain't never been punched in the face before. I'm gonna tell you something, bro. With 10-ounce gloves, I don't give a fuck if your beard is as long as motherfucking James Harden. The motherfucker crack you with some 10-ounce gloves. Ain't nothing a beard gonna do to prevent that shit from putting you the fuck out. My pop in the building. What's going on, Pop? 10-ounce gloves is punching through anything. You can have a James Harden beard. You can have whatever type beard you want. Somebody said Osama bin Laden. You can have all that. You can have all that beard. I had a long beard before. I cut my shit down. I trimmed my shit down a couple weeks ago. But like, bro, there's nothing that no fucking like a beard not gonna protect you from getting punched and hit square on the chin. Like that shit is absolutely ridiculous. What I think Xander Zayas' team is doing is playing mind games. You know what I'm saying? I think that they're doing that strategically to try to get in Jaron Ennis' head, try to frustrate him, whatever the case is. Do I think they're fucking really concerned about Xander Zayas' beard? No, they're worried about what the fuck he could do in the ring. They're not worried about his beard. But obviously, since he has a beard, you know what I mean? I guess they would feel like since Boots has the beard, obviously he doesn't want to shave it. That's something that he prefers to have. So if they could get in his head psychologically and get the commissioner force him to trim his beard or shave his beard, whatever the case is, you know, that could be something that could get under Boots' skin. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think it is. I just think it's mind games at the end of the day. Do I think they really give a fuck about a beard? No. I feel like this topic has just been spoken about a little bit too much. I don't think it's that big of a fucking deal. If Boots got to trim the beard, trim the fucking beard. My whole thing is, what if Boots says no? Then what? Y'all gonna find him? Cause I know y'all not gonna cancel the fight because the nigga ain't trimmed his beard. So, like, what happens? What's next? Because if I say no, then what's next? What if he Muslim? That's discrimination. Not saying that Boots is, but what if, you know, hypothetically speaking, he was? That would be discrimination. Whatever, man. Ain't nothing really. Ain't really too much to talk about, to be honest with you. I really don't care about it. I think they just trying to play mind games. I think they trying to get in Boots' head. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? Just like when coaches are talk shit about an opponent's gloves. You know what I mean? They might not give a fuck about the glove, but, you know, they might nitpick something about it, say something to the commissioner about it to try to get underneath their opponent's skin. This shit happens all the time. Some people don't mind fucking with you to try to throw you off of your game. That could be it. But anyways, man, obviously I got to get some shut-eye, man, because we're going to be getting up early and heading out. So I want to get into this. I want to get into my reaction to the weigh-ins between Xander Zayas and Jaron Ennis. And I want to say another thing, right? Because I've seen people saying, man, Xander don't look drained. Xander don't look drained. Man, bro, y'all do know that the weigh-ins that y'all saw was a ceremonial weigh-ins, right? Y'all do know that. You do know that the initial weigh-ins was early that morning. So between the early morning weigh-in and the ceremonial weigh-in was hours in between. A lot of rehydrating could happen within the few hours that was between that morning weigh-in and the ceremonial weigh-in. Y'all motherfuckers was watching that ceremonial weigh-in, seeing them niggas get on the scale and assume that that was their weight at the y'all seen the ceremonial weigh-in and thought that that's what they was weighing at that moment. No, they're rehydrated already. Jahi missed the ceremonial. Did he really? No, I seen Jahi. Oh, he missed the pre-weigh-in. Maybe he needed a little bit more time to get them pounds off. I don't know. That happened. I should be in New York in the early afternoon. Early afternoon. You know what I'm saying? But a ceremonial weigh-in is not the actual weigh-in. You feel what I'm saying? So Xander could have very much been in the high 60s at that time. And they're like, oh, man, he looked great at 154. No, that's after, you know what I'm saying, some good food, water, maybe IVs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that Xander uses to rehydrate, that shit was already. And that's why you see Xander sticking around, signing autographs, having energy for the people, because he's no longer cutting weight. He is no longer, dehydrated or whatever the case is. He actually has some energy to invest into the fans. Notch 24 said the Dominican versus Jahi going to be a good fight. That's Yuri Cedeno. Yeah, I believe that fight is going to be one of the fights to steal the show outside of the main event. You know what I'm saying? We might see some little impressive knockouts from a Ben Whitaker or a Emiliano Vargas, but a great back and forth fight, I think, is going to go down between Yuri Cedeno and Jahi Tucker for sure. I think Jahi's going to attempt to box. Yuri Cedeno is going to be putting that pressure, letting them hands go. And I think from there, I think Jahi is going to say fuck the boxing and get right with him. And that's when we're going to see some fireworks for sure. They've been saying Zayas been weight drained since the Perez win. I mean, he looked like it. You could tell that the weight is having an effect on him, and that, they asked Xander, was like, how long you plan on staying at 54? He said, as long as the body permits. So even if he's drained, if his body is still allowing him to get down to that weight class, he's going to continue to fight there. That's what he says. But we'll see after this fight. Because I'm under the impression that if Xander loses, he's just going to move up the middleweight. You know what I'm saying? They said there's been a lot of vendors and big crowds by the Barclay all week. It looked good over there. That's great. That's great, man. That's this type of shit that I want to see. I want to see people gathering around to appreciate the sport of boxing. The more people that got their eyes on boxing, the greater the sport can become. So I love it, man. I love it. But let's get into this weigh-ins, man. Let's get into these weigh-ins. Yasser Ali, what up? Trick said, Mazuma, are you still sticking with your prediction, or has anything changed your mind to this point? Nah, nothing really changed my mind, man. I'm pretty firm on what I believe. We're going to get into the final predictions after our reaction to this weigh-in, and we'll go from there. So, like I said, shout out to – wait, hold on. Did I share the screen? No, I didn't. Let me share the screen for the people to see. All right. Let's see it.
Brooklyn, New York, USA, for the official weigh-in for our big night of World Championship Professional Boxing taking place here tomorrow night. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening. As Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, in association with Top Rank Incorporated and Boots Promotions, are proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the unified WBA and WBO Super Welterweight Championship of the world. Now making his way to the stage, please welcome the challenger for tomorrow night. His professional record, perfect. 35 fights, 35 victories, with 31 of his 35 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated former unified welterweight champion of the world, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, Jaron Ennis.
You see, you hear the Meek Mill. You hear the Meek Mill song, right? Boots looks excited. He looks happy to be there. He looks like he's really enjoying the moment.
Defending unified world champion, He is also undefeated in his campaign as a professional with a record of 23-0, 13 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the reigning, defending, undefeated, and unified WBA and WBO Super Welterweight Champion of the world, de San Juan, Puerto Rico, Xander Zayas. Now to the scale, the challenger for tomorrow night, Jaron Boots Ennis. 153 pounds for Jaron Boots Ennis, 153 pounds.
Boots look like he in phenomenal shape, yo. I ain't gonna lie, that motherfucker cut the fuck up. Look at the deltoids. You know what I'm saying? That boy is shape. He had a hell of a camp. You could tell, bro. And he ain't look like as much fat on him. You know what I'm saying? But he don't look drained. He look like he's in tip-top shape. So he definitely prepared very well for this fight. You know what I mean? I got a little sneak peek of what he had going on. You know, strength and conditioning coach had him stretching properly. You know what I'm saying? And it just looked like everything was clicking, bro. You know what I mean? You could tell he was close to weight, you know, at that point as well. So it was Boots looked like he had a phenomenal camp. And with all the different looks that he got in sparring, yeah, he did his thing. He definitely did his thing. But Boots is cut the fuck up for sure.
And now to the scale, the defending unified world champion, Xander Zayas.
Ain't gonna lie, Xander definitely looks a little bit more slim than what we're accustomed to, but it looks like he's already rehydrating pretty well, and he looks like he's in phenomenal shape too. What's impressive to me about Xander is look at his back. Look how like this is a big dude, bro. Look how big his back is. You can see his back from the front. Pause. But you know what I'm saying? Like his I think they call them wings. Looks like he's in pretty good shape, big shoulders. Definitely sacrifice, you could tell. But he looks like he's already putting the weight on pretty easily. But it's just crazy how big his upper body is. It's crazy, to be honest with you. But Xander looks like he's in pretty good shape as well, for sure.
153.8 for Xander Zayas, 153.8 pounds. Fighters face each other.
What the fuck is going on? What is that? Is a car in the way? That's crazy, bro. That shit wake my son up. I'm gonna be mad as shit, bro. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. He was blocking that corner right there. You know that fire truck make wide ass turn. My fault, y'all. Weirdo shit as usual. Around the way. Shit. So it's the face off right here. They locked up. This shit intense, yo.
Xander Zayas, Jaron Ennis, 12 rounds for the unified WBA and WBO Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Matchroom Boxing in association with Top Rank Incorporated and Boots Promotions, live on the Zone from Brooklyn, New York, USA.
It's on. Yeah, it's on, man. Damn. I can't believe it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm just watching that weigh-in earlier, man. That shit just got me a lot more excited than what I already was. I was excited from the very beginning when I had just heard the rumors about the fight being made behind the scenes. So the fact that we really got one more day until these guys put it all on the line, man, it's gonna be a hell of a fucking fight, man. I think it's gonna be a hell of an event overall. I think the building's gonna be absolutely electric, man. There's gonna be a lot of passionate boxing fans in there. But one thing I'm gonna say, man, I think people are severely underestimating Boots' Philadelphia fan base. A lot of people when they're talking about this fight, bro, there's gonna be a bunch of Puerto Ricans in there. There's gonna be a bunch of Puerto Ricans in there. I don't think Xander Zayas is this like Puerto Rico megastar that y'all claiming him to be. Now, does he have a fan base in Puerto Rico? Absolutely. Does he have a fan base in New York? I'm pretty sure he does. But he's not at this point in his career where thousands of Puerto Ricans are going to be flying out from Puerto Rico just to see him fight. You know what I'm saying? Boots, on the other hand, has shown you while fighting in the States, whether it's Philadelphia, Atlantic City, multi-million-dollar gates, 14,000 people at the Wells Fargo. You know what I mean? I don't know how many he had in Atlantic City or whatever the case is, but, he's been able to show you that these people will travel, on the East Coast to come see this man fight. Bro, I'm having conversations with people. A lot of Philly dudes are going to be in the building to watch this fight. You know what I'm saying? Not to discredit, the Puerto Ricans that's going to be in from New York, Jersey, Philly, Connecticut, all that shit. No, I'm pretty sure they're going to be in the building and they're going to be rapping proudly. But Philly's definitely pulling up. Y'all going to see a lot of Pennsylvania motherfucking license plates in Brooklyn tomorrow. Trust and believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be different. I'm telling y'all. And I'm going to let y'all know. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with y'all and let y'all know what I see in the arena. You know what I'm saying? Because Boots is like, 90% of them could be with Zayas. It really don't matter to me. But I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that. I think Boots is actually going to have more people there supporting him than Zayas. That's just me. But we'll see. Maybe I'm underestimating Zayas' fan base. He did do some good numbers in Puerto Rico, but you know what I'm saying? Who's to say that they support Zayas enough where they're going to travel outside of Puerto Rico in order to see him fight? He's not he doesn't have a fan base of a fucking Miguel Cotto, Tito Trinidad, none of those guys. But I tell you what, if he beat Jaron Ennis tomorrow night, shit, he might. He might. So it's going to be electric, man. You know what I'm saying? If Jaron Ennis wins, man, he's a 2-time unified champion in 2 different weight classes. That's historic. That's great shit, man. You know what I mean? That's I'm not gonna say Hall of Fame. Nowadays the standard is really low to get into the Hall of Fame. So, you know what I mean? Boots may very well be a Hall of Famer. According to a lot of these different, Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame, it doesn't seem like you have to do much in order to make it. It's more like a popularity contest more than anything. But I tell you what, doing this will definitely solidify his legacy, in my opinion. I think that's a dope little accolade to have, to fall back on. I unified in 2 different divisions. Like, that's fire. That's a dope accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? But if Xander Zayas wins, in terms of, winning his first world title against Jorge Garcia Perez, then right after that, fighting Abaz Barao and grabbing his second world title, and then you go ahead and you beat one of the most well-rounded, complete fighters in the sport of boxing today, and you're only 23 years old, oh yeah, the Puerto Rico's going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy. Sway says, Mazuma, am I crazy or does Zayas look way bigger than Boots at the weigh-in? Well, he definitely looked taller. You can tell he rehydrated pretty well. And he's the bigger dude. I think we know that he's the bigger dude. But with Boots' attributes, what he brings to the table, is Zayas going to effectively use his size, in order to really get the Boots. That would involve being physical. That would involve trading with Boots. That would involve being on the inside or at least close quarters with Boots, mid-range. Does Xander really want to risk that? Because although he is bigger, he is significantly younger than Boots. You know what I mean? Boots got more of that grown man strength. Xander is coming into his grown man strength. I don't know if he's going to be the one to be on the front foot and really show that he's the bigger guy. So you could be the bigger guy all you want, but if you're not using that as a way to defeat your opponent, then what's the point of even talking about it? I don't personally believe that Xander is going to attempt to get physical with Boots or impose his will and show that he's the bigger man. I don't think he's going to do that at all. I personally believe that Xander is going to do his best impression of an outboxer. He may throw, he might throw some combinations or get into some 50-50 exchanges here and there, but I believe Xander's going to be very mobile. We got to pay attention to the shit that he's saying during the press conferences. You're going to be chasing shadows. What does that mean? Boots is going to be having to catch up to this dude throughout the entire course of the fight. How are you gonna have this man chasing shadows? By being a moving target. So I think Xander's gonna, be a lot like himself. You know what I mean? Use the fundamentals, constantly be on his bicycle, get his little combinations off while Boots is, walking to him and attempting to step around him. The problem is with as fast as Jaron Ennis is and with his superb, accurate counterpunching ability, is Xander Zayas going to be able to avoid those sharp counters from Boots? And if he gets caught clean by one of those counters from Boots, can he take that shot? When we've seen him get wobbled previously against guys who, in my opinion, aren't on Boots' level. It's a great question. It's a great question to pose when, analyzing this fight and really breaking it down. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me see. I see there's a few questions. We're going to get to the questions. Boxing Wiz in the building. He says, thoughts on Xander getting the commission to cut beards down. I mean, I spoke on it already. I don't really think it's as big of a deal as people are trying to make it seem. That's just one of the rules that the New York State Athletic Commission has. A few different commissions that I know have a similar rule where, because your beard is thick, it may possibly be hazardous, I guess you would say, to your opponent. It could scratch them or whatever the case is, or it could get in their eye, whatever the fuck the case is. That's just something that they know the rules. They know what the commission allows and what they prohibit. And I think that they're doing that in order to try to get underneath Boots' skin. A lot of this shit is mental. You know what I'm saying? So his team is probably sitting around like, how can we throw Boots off of his square? How can we frustrate him? How can we get him emotional? Is there anything that we could do to try to throw him off from a psychological aspect? So, they looked into the rules. They seen that beards must be a certain length. They see that that Boots has a longer, I guess you would say, beard. So they approached the commission about making Boots trim his beard down. Boots probably isn't somebody who wants to do that. So they're probably going to try to force him to do so. And my whole thing is, if Boots says no, then what? Are they going to cancel the fight because the nigga ain't trim his beard? I highly doubt that. So I think they're just trying to do that to get underneath Boots' skin and attempt to throw him off his square. But, just based off of how the way Boots is acting, his energy, how happy he is, a lot more happier than usual. I think he really understands that this is his moment. He just feels truly prepared for this opportunity. That's how I take it. But I don't think that's going to throw him off of his square at all. I think he's locked in. I think he knows what's at stake. He knows what he needs to do, and it's time for him to show out. That's how I see it. But I'm not really paying the beard situation much attention. I think it's being blown out of proportion, to be honest with you. I just think that his team, I think it's Xander's team just trying to play mind games with Boots. That's how I see it now. Boots can either get emotional about it or let it the fuck go. It's up to him. But, most likely, it's not that deep. You feel what I'm saying? J-Day, my boy Justin Jackson said, surprise Bad Bunny ain't do no promotion for Zion. Maybe he has Boots. I don't know, man. What I do know is a lot of them dudes in Puerto Rico is worried for Xander, man. I'm seeing a lot of those different podcasts and hearing what they have to say. A lot of those content creators off of the island. I heard one guy say that if Xander wins, he'll quit his podcast. Like, it's a lot of people who are very scared for Xander going into this fight, feeling like he's not ready. I got relatives from the island who's been saying the same thing. Like, they want to see him win, but they don't really like his chances. So, that could be possible. It could be possible. I'm saying. My boy is singing in the building. I'm sorry if I skipped anybody's question. If I skipped anybody's question, please feel free to just repeat the question. I'll get around to it. There's a lot of comments that it's like it'll show the comments, then it'll just slide up and the question will disappear. So my apologies for that. Singh said, Mark, how do you see Boots coming out? We all talking about Xander, but what style of Boots will we see? I think Boots is going to be much like himself, man. I think he's going to come in, considering the fact that I strongly believe that Xander will be on the back foot. I can see Boots, being on the front foot, obviously. I see him coming in behind a sharp jab, putting his jab in different places, jabbing up top, jabbing to the body, mixing some feints in, and just getting a feel for what Xander Zayas is looking for. You know what I'm saying? I can see Boots being defensively responsible, just coming out sharp. I think Boots understands that this ain't the type of fight to really play with. I think it's time to bring out all your tools and, just be sharp all around the board. Not taking unnecessary chances, getting into unnecessary brawls and 50-50 exchanges. I think Boots is going to come out very sharp. I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to show a little bit of everything. I think he's going to show some slickness. I think he's going to show a great jab. I think he's going to show some great hand speed, counter punching ability. I think it's going to be a great, well-rounded performance. And I think in the course of, Boots being himself, I see him hitting Xander with a clean shot that gives Xander attention. And then that's when, Boots is going to accumulate damage. And from there, I could really see, I don't see Xander quitting. I mean, I think Xander is big enough where, he may be able to take some of those shots on the chin, but I could see him quickly breaking down off as a result of that accurate punches. And from there, I could really see the corner, taking into consideration that, Xander's 23 years old. He's young. He has a lot left to give to the sport. We don't want him to take too much damage because that could ruin the rest of his career. So before we allow him to get his career ruined, you know what I mean? We'll just stop this fight right here, start back from square one, and then he'll have a lot more life. He'll have a lot more to give the boxing, after bouncing back off of this loss. They got Top Rank back in his play. It'll be easy to get him back on road, especially if he goes up to the 160-pound division. So me personally, when I'm looking at this fight, when I'm seeing what both guys bring to the table, I think Boots counterpunching is going to be the key to him landing those flush shots on Xander Zayas. I think Xander's going to be very surprised by Boots' hand speed. Not only that, I think there's going to be shots that Boots throws that Xander is not going to see too well. And I think there's going to be moments where, they're on the inside, and I think Boots is going to get the best of those exchanges. I think where Xander may have the best success is when, while Boots is loading up on a big shot, Xander just peppers in with a textbook combination and then just turns immediately. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to see some foot speed from Xander, and Boots is going to have to do what he does and showcase some hand speed himself. Some foot speed himself. And when he's turning, turn with him and fire off immediately. You know what I'm saying? Beat him to the offense off of the turn. That's what I would like to see Jaron Ennis do. But I think Jaron Ennis has this in the bag. I'm very confident. I'm not underestimating Xander whatsoever. He does have the ability to win the fight. This is boxing. A lot of shit can happen. There's a lot of different variables that can pop up in the fight that we're not speaking on right now. I got a lot of respect for Xander. He's very confident. I love this mentality throughout the entire course of this build-up. But I just think that Boots is just too talented. I think he's too complete for Xander. I think that Boots is on a different level, just based off of everything that I mentioned previously, and I think it'll show. I see them stopping the fight in the corner. I see them stopping the fight in the corner. I see Javier Centeno noticing that Xander doesn't have much more to give after, the 7th, 8th round, and, deciding to pull the plug because Xander has more to give. He has a lot to give to the sport, and, he's not going to fuck up Xander's career by allowing him to continue to pile up punishment. That's just what I think is going to happen. I think Xander's going to retire in his corner going into the 9th round. That's what I think. But if Xander makes a miscalculation, in my opinion, this shit could get stopped early. If Xander tries to take chances with him early, he's going to get caught early. But Xander's an intelligent fighter. I don't think he's going to take those chances early and try to bang with Boots. I think that'd be the dumbest shit in the world. I can see Xander team throwing in the towel in the 8th round, at the end of the 8th round, going into the 9th round. That's what I think. Singh said, Mark, do you see Boots out jabbing Xander? What do you mean by out jabbing? Do you mean like throwing more jabs or having the better jab or showcasing a better jab? Because there's a difference. There's a difference, quality and quantity. So who I think is going to throw the most jabs, I think is going to be Xander Zayas. I think he's going to overall throw more jabs than Jaron Ennis. But who's going to have the sharper jab? I think it's going to be Boots. I think Boots is going to have the more accurate jab. I think he's going to have the more quality jab. I think his jab is going to be more effective than Xander's. But Xander is more likely to throw more jabs because he's more of a volume type of guy. When you watch Xander fight, he rarely throws one shot. He always seems to throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations. You know what I'm saying? He may be a little bit more economic with Boots just to be if he really studied Boots, I understand that he got some sneaky counters. I think he'll be a bit more economical, especially in the beginning. But I think Xander is going to be more volume-based than Boots. I think Boots is going to throw less than Xander, but his punches will have more of an effect. They will be sharper. He'll be more efficient, and he'll get the job done doing less. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I think Boots is going to have the better jab, but I think Xander is going to throw more jabs. And I think people misconstrue that. I think people think because somebody uses something more that they're better than the other person at it. Not necessarily. Just because you throw that punch more doesn't mean that you have that punch is better than your opponent's. Your opponent. So if you throw 20 jabs and I throw 4 jabs, but them 4 jabs were more accurate than the 20 you threw, they had more of an effect on you. They were harder, cleaner shots than the 20 you threw. Then, as far as I'm concerned, I have the more quality jab. You just happen to throw your jab more than me. But the 4 that I throw was better than the 20 you threw. So, you know what I mean? That's what I mean by quality versus quantity. If we talk about quantity in terms of numbers, Xander. If we're talking about quality, I'm gonna give it to Boots. You know what I'm saying? And in the pro, in the amateurs, it's really quantity over quality. But in the pros, it's the opposite. It's quality versus quantity. Meaning, let's say you land 30 punches on your opponent in the first round, but with the 15 punches that the guy threw, he was able to hurt you. He was able to buckle you. He was able to make you do the stakey leg in the ring. Who you think they're gonna get that round to? They ain't gonna give it to you. Even though you outlanded the dude landed harder, cleaner shots on you, so they're gonna give the round 9 times out of 10 to him. So that's how I look at it. Go said people sleeping on Xander's counters when fighters overextend because people say he got no power, but the pressure fighters he's faced after getting hit hard by him, they get defensive real quick. I don't think Xander's a pillow puncher at all, but one thing I will say is that Xander's counters are usually most effective when guys are throwing single shots. I've seen Xander throw. Xander is good at being first and third. So I've seen a lot of sequences where like he'll start a combination. Let's say he'll throw a jab. Let's say he throws a jab right hand, right? He'll throw a jab right hand, and somebody will throw a right hand at him, and then he'll slip over and then shoot a 2-3 punch combination off the slip. He's good at that. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't know if he's gonna have the speed to land those slip counters on Boots. And you rarely ever, I don't really ever see Boots get hit in combinations neither though. Like you'll see Boots get hit with a shot, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he's on the, aggressive on the front foot. You might see him get hit with a shot here and there, but I don't ever see Boots get hit in combinations. Like I never seen Boots get hit with 2, 3, 4 punches in a row. So I think Xander's gonna have a lot of trouble with his combination punching in this fight as well. So if Xander's if he's not effective from a volume aspect, and they go on quality for quality, I'm rocking with Boots. Trick said, Mazuma, can you peep my comment? Yeah, Tricks, I got you. Let me see what he said. Mazuma, if Xander has a lot of success outboxing Boots, what would be an adjustment you think Boots can make? Also, do you think Boots can outbox the boxer and Xander if Boots decides to box? I think he can, and I was saying this in earlier videos. I think that Boots should attempt to, because this was one thing I noticed about Xander Zayas, and this is a great question, by the way. Xander is really effective when the fighter's coming forward with his style. Boom, boom, boom. He'll come in, boom, boom, boom. Then he'll step around. Boom, boom, boom. Then he'll drop. Boom. Then he'll step around. Circle around you and all that shit. Just make you look dumb. But one thing I noticed is when Xander's actually the aggressor and he's coming forward, it's a lot more opportunities to hit Xander. You know why? Because Xander's not really big on the angles when he's coming forward. He's big on the angles when he's on the back foot. So I would actually love to see Jaron Ennis, who can fight on the back foot, make Xander come forward. Leave some openings. And if you're able to get him to forget about his little angles and his footwork, he becomes more of a sit and duck. Xander could play, Boots could play the counter puncher, hit him with some hot shit and really get shit to go his way. I think Boots is a sharper puncher. I think he's the better counter puncher. I think he has the better timing. I think Boots will have a lot of success being on the back foot. That's just me. But y'all know Boots like to fight. So I think that even if he's on the front foot, I think he can still find ways to be effective and still win the fight and possibly get the knockout. But I do think if Boots really wanted to tap into that approach, I think he can outbox Xander. Like Xander's a solid boxer with very sound fundamentals, but he's not like this superb outboxer where it's like, if you try to play chess with him, then you lost. Like, no, like we think about that with guys like Shakur Stevenson. We think about that shit with guys like Alexander Usyk, Floyd Mayweather. But I don't look at Xander in that way. Xander's a good boxer, yes. Good athleticism, good footwork, fundamentally sound, good technique. He's solid. But I don't see Xander being to the level of this boxer where it's like, oh, man, you play chess, you assed out. Like, I don't see him being that high IQ type of guy. He has a high IQ, but I don't see – it's not like God tier like the guys that I just mentioned previously. Actually, when you really think about it, Xander, the good thing about Xander is that he's textbook. So he got the skills and he'll be able to outbox a lot of motherfuckers. The bad thing about Xander is that he's textbook, meaning that when he gets in there with a certain caliber of a fighter, they'll be able to figure him out because everything that he does is conventional. There's nothing unorthodox about Xander. Xander does everything by the fucking book. So when you're in there with somebody who has the offensive creativity like Boots, who's well-rounded like Boots, could counterpunch like Boots, there's going to be a lot of openings that Boots is going to see that he's going to take advantage of because Xander doesn't really have that, unconventional offensive creativity, where it's just going to throw Boots off guard. And, you know what I mean? He going to throw a combination at Boots that he's not accustomed to or never seen before. When you see Xander throw a lot of combinations, they're normal combinations that you like. Xander looked like he do pad work when he fighting. Like, have you ever seen like motherfuckers do regular pad work? You know what I'm saying? It's like 1-2, 1-1-2, 1-2, slip right hand, boom, boom, whoop. You know what I'm saying? You go boom, boom, whoop, boom. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, body, boom, 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 boom. A lot of the shit that, and I love the combination, and it's very effective. But I think it's effective with guys who are capable, who are vulnerable to being outboxed. You know what I'm saying? So we got some people in here that's rooting for, Xander Zayas, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like a Devin Haney. Somebody by the name of T-Rex says Xander's corner has more experience. Javier Centeno definitely has experience and has accomplished some good things. But I wouldn't say that he's more experienced than Bozy Ennis. I don't know that. Like, Bozy's been training professionals for years and has trained multiple top contenders from scratch, and his oldest sons, Derek and Farah Ennis, he's already had a unified champion. And Javier Centeno has had 2 unified champions, so that's dope. But Bozy has worked and helped guys win multiple world titles. He helped Stephen Fulton win a world title against Brandon Figueroa. O'Shea, what's her name? O'Shea Jones, I believe. She won a world title under Bozy's tutelage. You know what I mean? He's been in multiple world title fights. Bozy's experienced in his own right. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't just discredit Bozy and what he brings to the table and act like he's inexperienced or he's out of his league when it comes to Javier. Javier's a quality coach. Let's not get it fucked up. But, Bozy's a decorated trainer in his own right. What? Oh, I think you meant this. This nigga said Boosie. Bozy has no titles under him directly? What does that mean? What does that mean? He has no titles under him directly? That he's never won world titles himself? Like, as a fighter, what are you talking about? Pretty sure Javier Centeno has never won a world title neither. Direct under him directly. What does that mean? You got to elaborate, brother. Dominique said, Mark, have you seen in the gym that next level that Boots got that Bozy says we haven't seen yet? I've definitely seen some crazy sparring sessions from Boots where he definitely turned up. But I don't know exactly what Bozy's talking about. I would love for somebody to ask him that question. Like, when you're talking about getting, having a fighter bring Boots to the next level, what is it that you consider? What would you see in Boots that'll let you know that he's going to that next level? What is that Boots brings to the table that reassures you as a coach that he's taking it to the next level? Is he more aggressive? Does he pull out tricks that he's never shown in the ring before? What is it? Is it a different type of intensity? Like, I would love to ask Bozy that. But I have seen in the gym Boots, draw. I've seen that happen. So I guess I could say yes. Centeno has more wins as an underdog. My bad. When has Xander ever been an underdog outside of this fight? Are we just talking about the George Kambosos win over Teofimo Lopez? Is that the upset victory you're referring to? Could you run me off some more victories that Javier Centeno won where he was an underdog? Because Xander's whole career, he's never been an underdog. Since for the 7 years that he's been professional, I can't recall not one fight that he's been in where he was the underdog. So, can you run off the wins that Centeno has as an underdog? Maybe you could educate me, brother. Maybe you about to tell me something I never heard of. But let me see. Let me actually do some research. He was actually a former pro fighter. Okay. I did not know that. Javier Centeno was a former professional boxer. Oh, he only had one fight though. Regardless, he fought. So yeah, I respect that. Gotta respect that. Whether he had one or two, whatever the case is, he fought and he know what it's like to be a pro. So that's dope. Um, trying to yeah, I don't know. Matt Craig in the building. He says Xander looked good at the weigh-ins. He didn't look drained. I think he was giving us a fight a lot of people don't expect. Boots by a split decision. Ooh, that's a competitive bout there, brother. Well, to be fair, to be honest, Xander looked good at the weigh-ins, but that was a ceremonial weigh-ins. I would have loved to have seen how Xander looked, at the actual weigh-ins, how the way he looked in the morning. That would have been very interesting to see, but we weren't able to see it for whatever reason. I didn't see any images at least. But by the time the ceremonial weigh-ins came around, Xander was already hydrated. So, I guess he's supposed to look like you know, I guess he's supposed to look good at the ceremonial weigh-ins because by that time he's already spent several hours rehydrating. But I mean, I fuck with the ceremonial weigh-ins though. I like the early morning weigh-ins, giving fighters, that additional time to replenish and put the right liquids and foods back in their system. You know what I mean? After a tough training camp, they definitely deserve it. I mean, I just wish they did that for lower level fighters as well, because some lower level fighters got to wait until 5 p.m., 4 p.m. to weigh in for a fight. They sacrifice just as much as the higher level guys do. So, I mean, I wish it was like that all the time. I wish it was like that for everybody. I mean, I think those first weigh-ins are private. They are. They are. That's why we haven't seen any photos or anything like that. I remember when Devin Haney, when he was super drained, fought Vasil Lomachenko. They had their little private weigh-in, and they didn't allow any cameras while he was weighing in on the scale. You know what I'm saying? Boost said he learned a few tricks from Canelo. You think he pulls those out this fight that he got from Canelo? I mean, it depends on what he learned from him. I didn't hear him get into specifics as to the tricks that he learned while sparring Canelo, but if it could be used to whatever it is that he learned, if it's something that could have an effect on Xander, I'm sure he will use it. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it'll be because he may have learned some things from Canelo during that sparring session that won't work against Zayas. So you know, I can't really answer that question because I can't say specifically what he learned from Canelo. I didn't hear him really reveal that information. Sean Terrence said, why do they think Xander will win moving if Karen couldn't do it? I mean, respectfully, Xander, in my opinion, is a better fighter than Karen. He's significantly bigger than Karen. He's more accomplished than Karen. He's more confident than Karen. So he's a better boxer than Karen. So maybe, you know what I mean, with seeing Boots go the distance with Karen multiple times, and you know, a lot of people seem to criticize Boots for his performance because it looked like he had a tough time cutting off the ring and shit like that. Now imagine a bigger, better, more skilled boxer presenting that same style, but having a more advanced toolbox, I guess you would say. So that's probably why they think that. But I've always been one of those people that said I don't really understand the Karen Chukazan criticism so much because, especially that first fight, because Karen didn't really win a round the first fight, and then in the second fight he probably won 3 rounds max. So out of 24 rounds, y'all criticizing a man because he lost 3 rounds out of 24. I don't know, man. I don't know. People different. Do you think Xander goes to the body? Going to the body will involve fighting on the inside to an extent, or at least fighting at mid-range. And with Boots' counterpunching ability, I don't think that would be wise to do. Boots catch and shoot is very real. So let's say, for instance, he tries to shoot that left hook to the body against Boots. Boots catches it on the elbow and then shoots a right uppercut right up the middle. Is that something you really want to risk doing? Or do you want to keep Boots outside and take away from his power? I don't know. I think Xander could probably do it like in the midst of a combination, especially if like Boots shells up or something, which he rarely does. But you might be able to get that shot off if he's on the defense. But if he sees the shot, catches it, and then he shoots right up the middle, that shit could be curtains. Zayas said, I think Xander breaks Boots. Ooh-wee. Okay. That's a hell of a statement. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. One thing about this boxing shit, man, you never truly know. You can have all the confidence in the world and still be wrong. So I'm going to definitely be at the Barclays, fanned out. You know what I mean? Really, not of either one of the fighters, but of the sport of boxing, man. I can't help it, man. I love this sport. I'm going to love this sport to the day I die. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm excited. I cannot wait to be in Brooklyn. I cannot wait to be at this event. I cannot wait to see the nation. Absolutely, man. We're going to have a hell of a fucking time, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get one more question, then we're going to get up out of here. You feel what I'm saying? Because I got to catch some shut-eye. And me and my girl got to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a conversation after this live. We're going to talk about the BBR. See? We're going to talk about the BBR, all right? All right. What round you got Boots with the KO? I think Xander retires in his corner at the end of the 8th round, going into the 9th. Marissa said, is Bozy still training Fulton for his upcoming fight on July 26th? I have no idea. I don't think so. I didn't see Fulton at the gym when I had went over there, but that doesn't mean he's not there. One thing about Bo that a lot of people don't know is that motherfucker hates planes. He hates flying. So I don't know if Bo is going to be okay with flying to Australia. That's a hell of a flight from what I understand. How long is a flight from Philly to – how long is a flight? from Philly to Australia. That's a 21 to 25-hour plane ride, man. Boozy gonna be losing his shit. That's crazy. He gonna be losing his mind. You said retire is nasty work. I think his corner gonna stop it. If Xander wins, Mazuma gotta go bald. That'll never happen. Only way I ever go bald is if motherfucking nature acts for it. You feel what I'm saying? And if that's the case, I won't trip. I'll just be a bald motherfucker. I wouldn't look bad bald. You see, you feel me? I don't think I look bad bald at all. I got a beard. I just let that bitch grow out. Nigga, I just look like a regular Rican old head. I ain't tripping. But I would never shave my head bald. I've cut my hair very low in the past, like on some motherfucking military shit. Buzz cut, but nah, I ain't never going bald. I shave my beard. I shave this. I shave my sideburns. That's probably it. It's the most you're gonna get out of me. Shit, man. This dude Tricks be asking crazy questions. Mazuma, what game plan would you implement early for Xander? Does Xander try to get the respect early, or should Xander immediately get on his bicycle and stay behind the jab? Me personally, as a boxing coach, I think one of the dumbest things you could do, especially when you're not the stronger puncher, in my opinion, or when you're in there with a big puncher like Boots, I wouldn't go in there and try to get my respect early, because all that shit is warranting is you getting caught cold, or you getting caught with you getting your shit wrong early. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. One thing I always learned is you don't never want to step to a puncher in the early rounds, because that's when they're the strongest, right? So we getting on that bicycle. No, ain't nothing wrong with the questions, Tricks. I love answering questions, bro. I love the fact that you're curious enough and trust my opinion enough to ask those questions. But what I would do, you got to get on the bike and stay behind the jab. Absolutely. You have to get on the bicycle and stay behind the jab. You know what I mean? Pepper him with some shots. You want to frustrate Boots. You know what I mean? You don't want to give him opportunities where, you know, he'll get off those big bombs or whatever the case is. You don't want to give him that opportunity. You want him chasing shadows, right? That's what you say. You want this man to chase shadows, so that involves a whole lot of footwork. But with, in my opinion, a tough weight cut that he had, is he going to have the energy necessary, especially in those later rounds? When we seen him fatigue in previous fights. But a Baz Barao, I seen him fatigued a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I seen that. Seen in them later rounds, he was a little bit gassed. Is he going to be able to move constantly for 12 rounds to avoid getting hit with some devastating shots from Jaron Ennis? So, I don't know, man. We just going to have to wait and see, man. But that's my live for the day, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and show love as always. Around this time tomorrow, we'll know if it's going to be Xander and Still or Jaron Ennis and the new. Very excited to share this moment with you guys, man. I will be vlogging. Shit, you might even catch me do a live real quick, man, chopping it up with the nation and shit like that, man. We'll see where life takes us tomorrow. Out in Brooklyn, man. I'll be there. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. Y'all stay in touch with y'all boy. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe button. We doing this for the culture, man. You know what I'm saying? This is a huge, huge fight, man. I am so excited. I cannot put the words how much I am looking forward to seeing this shit happen. God bless y'all, man. Much love to the nation. You feel what I mean? I'll be back at y'all with another live, possibly tomorrow, to discuss the fight that happened between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas. Y'all leave y'all predictions in the comments below. Until then, hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.